Hello viewers, today we discuss the reproduction of fungi. So first let's know about the definition of fungus. The term fungus is used to include nucleated spore-bearing achlorophyllous eukaryotic organisms which generally reproduce sexually and asexually and usually filamentous, branched. Somatic structures are typically surrounded by a cell wall containing cellulose or chitin or both. So from the definition, we come to know that the fungus is a eukaryotic organism. It is achlorophyllous, which means having no chlorophyll and, hence, unable to engage in photosynthesis. So fungus is unable to produce own food itself. Reproduction. Definition of reproduction. Reproduction is the formation of new individuals having all the characteristics typical of the species. Mode of reproduction of fungi. Fungi have two modes of reproduction. One is mold and another is yeast. Mold means sporulation. In the mold, reproduction is primarily a process of spore formation with subsequent germination and branching of the growing plant. Yeast means budding. In this process a small bud develops from the cell wall of the mother cell and contains all the structures of the mother cell. It gradually increases in size, develops a cell wall and is constricted off as a distinct individual. Mother yeast cells may produce numerous buds when the environment and food supply are favorable. Types of reproduction of fungi. Two types of reproduction are recognized in fungi. One is asexual and another is sexual. Asexual reproduction, also called somatic or vegetative reproduction, does not involve the union of nuclei, sex cells, or sex organs. Sexual reproduction in fungi, as in another living organism, involves the union of two compatible nuclei of parent cells. Both are present either in molds or yeast. Asexual process of reproduction. 1. Fission of somatic cells yielding two similar daughter cells. 2. Budding of somatic cells or spores, each bud a minor daughter of the parent cell. Developing into a new individual. 3. Fragmentation or disjoining of the hyphal cells, each fragment is becoming a new organism, or 4. Spore formation. In general, asexual reproduction is more important for the propagation of the species, since it results in the production of numerous individuals and particularly since the asexual cycle is usually repeated several times during the season, whereas the sexual stages of many fungi are produced but once a year. Sexual process of reproduction. Plasmogamy, Greek plasma equals a molded object, i.e., a being plus gamos marriage union. A union of two protoplasts brings the nuclei to close together within the same cell. The fusion of the two nuclei which are brought together by plasmogamy is called karyogamy, Greek karyon equals nut, nucleus plus gamos equals marriage, and constitutes the second phase of sexual reproduction. Here two haploid nuclei of two mating types fuse together to form a diploid nucleus. This is followed by chromosomes to the haploid number. Process of plasmogamy is summarized as follows: gametic copulation, fusion of naked gametes, one or both of which are motile. Gametangial copulation, two gametangia come into contact but do not fuse. The male nucleus migrates through a fore or fertilization tube into the female gametangium. Gametangial copulation, two gametangia or their protoplasts fuse and give rise to a zygote that develops into a resting spore. Somatic copulation, fusion of somatic or vegetative cells. Spermatization, union of a special male structure called a spermatium, plural spermatia, with a female receptive structure. The spermatium empties its contents into the latter during plasmogamy. Unit of reproduction. We know that unit of reproduction of fungi is spores. Two types of spores are recognized, one as perfect and another as imperfect. Perfect results from the sexual process, and imperfect results from the asexual process. Spores of asexual reproduction. There are 5 types of spores. They are sporangiospores, conidiospores, arthrospores, chlamydiospores, blastospores. Sporangiospores. These single-celled spores are formed within sacs called sporangia, singular sporangium, at the end of special hyphae, sporangiospores. Example aplanospores are non-motile sporangiospores. Zoospores are motile sporangiospores, their motility being due to the presence of flagella. Example: rhizopus. Conidiospores or conidia, singular, conidium, small, single-celled are called microconidia. Large, multicelled conidia are called macroconidia. Conidia are formed at the tip or side of a hypha. The conidia become detached when mature. Example: Aspergillus sp. Arthrospores or oidea singular, oidium. These single-celled spores are formed by disjoining hyphal cells. Example: Coccidioides amidus. Chlamydiospores. These thick-walled, single-celled spores are highly resistant to adverse conditions. They are formed from cells of the vegetative hypha. Example: Candida albicans. Blastospores. These are spores formed by budding. Example: Cryptococcus. Spores of sexual reproduction. There are 4 types of spores. They are ascospores, basidiospores, zygospores, oospores. Ascospores. These single-celled spores are produced in a sac called an ascus, plural, asci. There are usually 8 ascospores in each ascus. Basidiospores. These single-celled spores are borne on a club-shaped structure called a basidium, plural, basidia. Zygospores. Zygospores are large, thick-walled spores formed when the tips of 2 sexually compatible hyphae or gametangia of certain fungi fuse together. Oospores. These are formed within a special female structure, the ogonium. Fertilization of the eggs, or oospores, by male gametes formed in an antheridium, gives rise to oospores. These are 1 or more oospores in each ogonium. Asexual and sexual spores may be surrounded by highly organized protective structures called fruiting bodies. Asexual fruiting bodies have names such as acervulus and pycnidium. Sexual fruiting bodies have names such as perithecium and apothecium. In the formation of reproductive organs, either sexual or asexual, the entire thallus may be converted into 1 or more reproductive structures, so that somatic and reproductive phages do not occur together in the same individual. Fungi that follow pattern are called holocarpic, gr. Holos whole equals carpos equals fruit. In the majority of fungi, however, the reproductive organs arise from but a portion of the thallus, while the remainder continues its normal somatic activities. The fungi in this category are called eukarpic, gr. EU good carpos equals fruit. Thank you. If you have any questions, then you can ask me in the comment.